Welcome to the second episode of Paint Your Face podcast, this time with the very talented bridal hair expert Megan Lindsay.
I know you're rolling your eyes, you're like, fuck off, don't do this to me. But I was like, you're going to have to introduce yourself. So just literally who you are, what you do.
Oh, of like my business.
Yeah.
I am Megan and my business.
Hi,
Laura. What is it they do that when you go somewhere? It's like, hi, my name's Megan. And
Is
I'm
it
a
Alcoholics
bridal.
Anonymous? Is it AA?
Hi, my name's Megan and I'm a bridal hairstylist.
It's pretty much being an
That's
addict though, is
literally-
it?
It is.
So, how long have you been a bridal hair artist, did you call yourself?
No, stylist.
Stylist.
Oh, it could be an artist.
I
It could
know,
be like a bridal.
bridal
Oh my god,
artist,
bridal hair specialist, artist specialist. No, I'm not artist. 12 years. Yeah, 12 years this year. Weddings were not the same like
No.
12 years ago. So you would just go to your hairdresser to get your hair done. There wasn't even makeup artists. Like makeup artists were like on the TV.
I used to have clients come in onto counter to get their makeup done. So I would be standing there at Clarence or Uncombe and they would just come in early at not even 6 a.m. or anything. It was like 9 o'clock. They got their makeup done and they went home because they were getting married that day.
So I just feel like if you say makeup artist, you would think like that, like makeup counter or like on the TV. But you'd go to like a beauty therapist, like to get your makeup done. And even then it would be very, and watch what I'm saying, but like not like it is now.
No.
Like probably much on the basic side before. The wedding industry just went mental. So I think I definitely slipped into it. I slipped into it in the right time that suited me because the kids were so young. But yeah, it's definitely mental. I feel like every year now there's something new that you can get for your wedding.
And I like it. I do see like probably the newest thing is content creating. Like that's something that we didn't have a year or two ago. Yeah. But I do like it. Like I see why they have their place.
Oh, there is a place for everyone, I think.
Absolutely.
And as long as everyone works as a team on the morning and is respectful of everyone's job and their time and what they're there to do, then it works. The last hour is just mental all the time. So
always, even the most organized bride. From all your expertise in the bridal industry, what would be your best tip for the bride to not have that chaotic last hour?
Oh, I think sometimes it can be avoided and then other times it is unavoidable. Especially I think it depends on the size of your bridal party. If you're going to have a lot of bridesmaids, you have to just surrender to the fact that last hour is going to be chaotic because you can't juggle so many people.
10 ladies potentially putting on shoes at the same time.
Shoes. Someone can't find their earrings. Someone's labels are still on stuff. Someone can't find their pants. Like, so it's just, and the photographer wants you, or the videographer wants you. I want you back. Like, makeup needs you back. So yeah, I don't know. I think just being as organized as possible and don't kind of think, if you think you need a certain amount of time, add on more because it's never enough.
It's like, how often do we go to weddings together and the bridesmaids have had their hair and makeup done and they start steaming dresses?
When people question, as soon as you put wedding in front of pricing, like it's so much more. Right, okay, some people probably do totally rip the piss with that, but that is what is included in the cost of a experienced bridal makeup artist or bridal hairstylist or cake maker or photographer. Like you're not just someone that doesn't do it from, again, no disrespect, that just works in a salon and does 9 to 5 party makeup. The timing is not the same. You just don't think in that same way the whole time at a wedding morning. I'm having a laugh and the chat is great, but in my head I'm like, you've taken me this time and now I need you, and you've had your makeup done, but actually now we're going to need to swap and I'm going to have to do that. And your head is just constant on like almost high alert for a good 6 or 7 hours sometimes, and then you sit in the car and you're like, oh my god,
I'm rocking back
like literally it's exhausting in a good way.
That's why I call you the boss, because you always
yes, I will have that for sure.
Always organize everybody. As much as it's never my first rodeo, I'm quite like,
I'll be late.
I know. I'm like, oh, you want to nip out to the shop? Oh, okay, I'll do your makeup after. Where she'd be like, absolutely
no,
not.
absolutely no.
And I like that because then I go, oh, what she said. So I get too much into the party.
No.
So the top tips really for that bride is just hire you as hairdresser slash wedding
coordinator of the morning. I think it just comes with time of doing it, like, because a lot of the times you'll go to weddings and you're like, oh guys, like you should really like that, like bra straps or baubles, or do you know, if you take your labels off the bottom of your shoes, or like the flowers out the water, like stuff like that.
Take turns saying though a tip of like what they could do, like just the tip. So before we arrive, have already steamed the dresses.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Freshly washed hair the night before or the morning of, as long as it is dry, ready to be styled.
Have your lipstick or lip gloss that you're planning to use on the wedding day.
Arrange breakfast before hair or makeup arrives, or if not, have it so it's easily accessible.
Gowns that obviously are accessible for the chest for me, but not to put a tip in your mouth, but is there something to do with collars that they choose, these shirts or something, or sometimes dressing gowns? Sometimes
the shirts are fine because you can just tuck them in. Dressing gowns, no, and usually that's at hotels because they've got the lovely big spa one.
What's
up
the
collar?
Problem?
Because they bundle right up at your neck. So when you then get your hair done, no matter what it is, if it's down, it's constantly rubbing. I don't know if it's that like terry toweling material and it just rubs off your hair, or if your hair's up, you obviously, if you've got a low bun, absolutely not, because it's just rubbing right off the dressing gown. A lot of the kind of standard, matching jammies everyone gets are that kind of silky, which is fine, but they're such a non-breathable material as well, so everyone ends up getting quite sweaty. But then the ones that say like the team bride or bridesmaids at the back, and then they're like, oh, let's get a photo, move your hair, and I'm like, oh.
But how funny is it on wedding mornings that for some reason people can't do anything for themselves sometimes?
We were talking about this at the weekend.
So occasionally I have like a bridesmaid and it's a chaotic last hour, and I'm trying to deal with, finishing off the bride, and, everyone wants to get changed. But you will have a bridesmaid literally like this. Do you want me, like, to do my touch-ups now? Okay. What I really want to say, am I going to edit this? I don't know. What I really want to say is, do you want to just say this? Like,
do you just, have you forgotten how to do it? Could you just spray this one bit of hair for me?
I know. And we've been paid for a job. We're there to do.
I know, but sometimes it's just like there's a light.
It's like going to a restaurant and the waitress or waiter has brought you over a jug of water and you really want to drink, but you can't pour it in. No, unless
that will happen.
Probably
that will 100% happen.
The most asked question I get all the time is like, oh, what are your like bridezillas? Like, who are your worst? Like, what have you had? And don't get me wrong, over 12 years, of course, there's stuff. It's very rarely the brides.
I knew where this was going.
It's usually, I would go as far as 90%. It is bridesmaids or the mums. Sometimes in a wedding morning as well, someone, you can tell who is a sister because someone will ask the bride something, the bride's like, oh yeah, that's okay, and then someone else will go, oh for fuck's sake, and I was like, well, that's a sister.
I wonder what our tips could be for that person, like to almost maybe have like a task in the morning. Could they maybe be, or would that be worse?
No, I do give that for mums. I find especially, mums need a task. They need a job in the morning.
I agree though. The mum for us tends to be, I want to say the issue, but that's not the right word.
No.
But I feel like the mum doesn't know where to place her energy. Kind of like where I'm ready to run the race, but I don't know what to do with all this. Where can I burn this?
Yeah.
The mum having a really, really easy, lovely task. Like maybe even mum, could you go around with a book and get a little message from everybody?
Literally just
like,
something.
oh, how you feeling this morning? But on that note, right, that's a good task for the mum. But that brings me actually to a point about little messages and notes and lovely little things to give the bride. Any special thing, any special message for the bride from the groom,
sentimental,
or the bride, anything sentimental. What is it?
Before makeup. Not really before makeup, but night before. Just do it the night before you've had your makeup done. Sometimes people are like, oh, let's wait for the photographer and we'll give you your gift from the groom, or we'll give you the gift from the bridesmaids. And it's like, how long we've known you and we love you so much. And of course you're emotional, and see all that hour and a half makeup you've just had just pouring off your face, and they're touching their hair, and you're like, no, before.
No.
No.
The flowers one is a good tip about the water.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because so many people's dresses are like that satin material now, and obviously it just gets water stains. And usually every florist says that anyway, like just remember to take them out the water, dry them, blah, blah,
blah.
They
always ask me how long before though, and I have had contradictory advice about that. I always thought it was like 15 minutes, just the last kick, but I feel like some people say you can do it right like an hour before.
I think, yeah, I'm the same. I think I've never heard 15 minutes. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's very cutting it fine.
But half an hour to that's my advice. So that, I don't know if that tip's clear why we're saying to take the water out. Actually, take the flowers out, but the flowers usually arrive in little kind of jars, don't they? Even though it looks like cardboard.
Yeah, it's like cups of water.
And so whenever you take your dress or your flowers straight out, they might drip onto your dress. And some people haven't realised that it's in water. So we always take it out, dry the ends of it, but they'll obviously still be a little bit damp. So you're saying 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, I've said an hour before. I did one again where I don't know if she'd sprayed them, the florist, with something, but the stems, they were still a little bit damp, and they stained their dresses. Their dresses were like a champagne-y. And it might have been she maybe used a spray or something, because I've never had that before, but they just really stained their dresses with like this greeny tinge, almost looked like moss. Yeah.
I think maybe the florist will have told them that, but again, in the morning, they're a bit all over the place. So having like even just a little note, like, I mean, is that too serious of me to say, like, have a little note that just says like, don't forget this? Because like we said, bridesmaids or mum, they're looking for things to do. So actually there could be, just instead of a lot of brides are focusing purely on who's going to get what makeup and hair done when to be honest, we can sort that. They could also just have a list literally with a tick box saying taking flowers out, so anyone could look at that list and tick it off.
Yeah.
Leave your shoes and your jewellery and your pants at your dress, you know, and then you know that you can tick that off.
I think some people would love that, because I do. Some people love a list, and I hate a schedule, if I'm honest, of hair and makeup. I mean, like, I don't hate it. I just think it can go out the window after the first person, because there's so many variables on the morning. I will have a plan for the morning of who's going when, but it's much easier once you see everyone. And the first pair, I don't know if you're the same, but my first person takes me the longest.
Always.
So I don't know if you're just kind of getting, now when I say takes me the longest, it's still like half an hour, 45 minutes, but you're just probably just getting into it. And then everyone else is a wee bit faster. So sometimes when people make like, this person's going at 9:15 and this person's going at 10 and this person's going at 10:45, well, that person might not actually take me that long. And also, if they don't take me that long and they take you a bit longer.
I don't know why you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Only because sometimes that does happen.
Is it just me? It's not just you. Is it just me? No, it's not just you. It's not just you.
I had 3 bags and it was £100. And I was like, what?
Baba Black Sheep.
What is this? Where did Baba Black Sheep come from?
Oh, she had 3 bags full.
All right. You definitely have undiagnosed ADHD.
Does everyone not think like that? You said 3 bags full.
What were we talking about?
Anyway, we'll just say we forgot what we were talking about.
Literally.
I think when you're in the industry of like makeup, hair, you tend to be more creative brain, which probably does make us a bit on the spectrum in some way. And I spend most of my days being like, what?
Yeah.
what was I speaking about? So we'll move on from that one. We'll maybe end up coming back to it and being like, oh, that's what we were talking about. What, I have no clue what a hair tip would be, like how you get your hair in good condition.
Yeah, I feel it would depend on everyone's hair. I've had a few people recently where they're struggling with their hair being so static, but that's really normal for this time. Go down. This time of year, see, because it's cold and you're battling with the heating, and it's quite drying for your hair. So when your hair's dry, it can go static. And then sometimes people panic and think I'm using too much shampoo or I'm using too much product, and that's when actually I would say it was the other way around. Like, you need to nourish your hair more, like, and then that kind of then goes round to what I was saying about prep is key, and they'll use certain products. Like, your hair needs to be in good condition. I feel that's what's so important with a trial, because once you see their hair and you meet the person and you know what they're having done and you know what steps you're taking, then it's much easier.
I'm always surprised by people who have like really long, thick hair, but still, you guys, hairdressers, who like the extensions. I've been pre-agreed with the bride at the trial, but I'm surprised how many people need extensions. Like, why is that?
Because, so it's usually for a certain stick. Obviously, when it's down, everyone has hundreds of hair up at the crown. Like, it's where it's thicker, you've just got loads of hair. And then everyone's hair as it chills. Now, not everyone's hair, because there obviously will be people with really, really thick hair, but most of the time as it comes down, it just starts to single and separate. So when you go to do like the lovely Hollywood waves and you brush them all out, what starts to happen is there's nothing filled at the bottom. So the extensions are just used as literally like a filler to fill that in. Same with curls. If they're too fine and you don't have enough, they just spiral into that one little curl. So extensions, they never are going to make your hair look worse. They will always enhance.
What's your prediction of trends for 2025?
I think the wave, although I think it will still be a Hollywood wave, but a much softer version. So not as tight, not as done, not as neat, maybe a bigger barrel, so nice and fuller and just more brushed out. I do feel like a lot of people are going like a nice snatched half up. Like, I think that's going to be a good one too. And a pony, everyone loves a pony.
Have you had any proper wedding morning disasters? The one that you said that you turned up and they just said, oh, just grab a coffee, like we'll be back in an hour. That is a bit of a, like, has been portrayed as a skit on Instagram and TikTok as like a joke, but you've actually experienced that in real life.
Oh yeah, I've had that. I've had turned up and chapped and I've woken them up and they've reacted like it's a shock that I'm there, even though we've spoken the day before. And then it's like, oh, we're still like, we had a really late night, can you come back later? I've had that before. What else have I had? The cutting the dress, I've told you that before. So there was like two flower girls, like junior bridesmaids, and it was all rushed last hour. Put them on, the coordinator was there, and the mum, basically one of the flower girls, had put her dress on and she was like, oh, it's too long, like the seam's it's far too long, it's going to need cut. So she basically asked the coordinator to cut the tulle, however you say it, round the dress to make it shorter. And the coordinator was not, she was like looking at me and she was like, I don't want to do this. And she was put quite on the spot, to be fair. So she started cutting the tulle on the dress for then the mum to turn around and go, oh my God, stop, the girls have the wrong dresses on. So obviously they put the wrong dresses on the girl. So she'd already started cutting it, but the way that she'd cut it, so then honestly, this coordinator, bless her, like her face went white as a ghost. So then she was like, you're going to have to just kind of, let's see if you just kind of cut like up it, it'll be fine. You're not really noticing it if it's a wee bit awkward. And actually it was totally fine. But the coordinator after was like, see if that comes back on me, will you like have my back? I was like, 100%.
That's crazy. Let me do your lips. You can think of something if there's anything else. So I've done your liner. I'm now just going to put a wee bit of lipstick on. Okay. I'm just going to go for the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Fair.
Here's another tip for you. Don't drink too much the night before. you will regret it.
And it's such a shame because that you don't usually find it with the bride.
No.
But that has been their day that you're supposed to be either a really good friend or your sister or a sister-in-law, someone that's gonna, you hope, be in their life forever. And it's so important to that person. Like, now is not the time for the party. I'm gonna spray you with setting spray, so close eyes, deep breath.
Ooh, I'm gonna look so glam for school.
Their lashes are lashing. Folk are going to be like, "Are you going out?" Like,
I know,
no,
is it
just
too
like,
much for what day is this, a Monday?
Literally going into swim. I'm going to portal.
I feel like we've covered a lot of topics on this, but really, hopefully quite helpful advice for some people on things they can do in their wedding morning. The only thing I was going to ask, but we never got time to, was about your makeup routine for wedding morning. Do we expect to see you like this every wedding?
Absolutely not. I really do try because I feel like I'm very mindful of being in people's pictures.
Yeah.
But no.
So thank you so much. I hope you liked your makeup look. I hope anybody who watches it likes seeing the process and the transformation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your Monday.
I will.
And overnight, I'm going to
See you later.
see you later. Just look at the floor. You walk with your eyes to like your knees, and then you can look at the European. Do you know what? I didn't want to tell you. I was in the background. With the circle, and then I caught myself and I was like,
This is so awkward.